Good afternoon. I am Danilo Novoa, and I welcome you to the 11th webinar of 2020 organized by the Virtual Education Unit of CEC-EPN. This project has been carried out since 2013 and aims to share and transmit knowledge through webinars based on current trends in live learning or live training programs. To obtain your digital webinar certificate, you must complete the following requirements. Attendance at the webinar of at least 45 minutes, take the assessment test, carry out the leisure activity, and pass with a minimum of 70 points. Your certificate will be ready from Monday, July 28th. Attendance will be reflected in grades on July 21st, and the link can be found in the webinar's classroom. This webinar aims to identify the best techniques to teach English using Web 2.0 tools. Now let's introduce our instructor, Master of Science Bernard Facet. Bernard holds a master's degree in pedagogy in local and foreign languages, major in English from Universidad Técnica del Norte. Bernard also holds a bachelor's degree in advertising and marketing by Universidad San Francisco de Quito. Bernard works at CEC-EPN as subcoordinator of the English department. Among his responsibilities are teachers meeting material preparation, supporting teacher with class management, authorizations for conditions to pass and absence specifications, ISO procedures, and he's in charge of the translations department. He also owns Translation Lab Pro, managing and selling translations in Spanish, English, French, Portuguese, and Chinese, proofreading and translating in Spanish, English, and Portuguese. At this time, we warmly welcome Bernard and invite him to this conference.
Okay, thank you, Danilo, and thank you everybody for coming today. I think that we have a very big group, which is good because we're going to be practicing a couple of things we can use in our daily classes. One of the first things that I want to tell you or let you know is that, of course, this presentation is going to be entirely in English because what we're looking for is actually working with English teachers right now. Okay? Let me just share the presentation. Okay. So basically, what are we going to see in this webinar? First, what are Web 2.0 tools? Second, what or how using one of the web tools is done. In this case, what we're going to be working with is an app called Mentimeter. We will see some of the features of the tool that we're going to be checking today. We will see also useful tips on how to use it, Mentimeter, in our English class, and how to use or how to set your account, and a quick tour through Mentimeter. Okay, and then we're going to see other word cloud tools. Okay, just one thing that I want to tell you right now is that Mentimeter is not only for creating word clouds. Okay, we will have a lot of different things that we can do with it. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to go to this webpage, www.menti.com. Okay. As you can see here on the top, you have a code. After you enter www.menti.com, you're going to click this code, 188860. Okay? And you're going to answer this question. Do you know what Web 2.0 tools are? So please go to menti.com and start answering. I'll give you 1 more minute to answer. As you can see, we have a couple of people that have used it somehow, others that haven't, and some that at least have a little idea of what this is. Do you know what Web 2.0 tools are? Okay. Couple of seconds. So right now we have pretty much around 50% of the people who are connected to this webinar who have answered. And we can see that 10 people know what Web 2.0 tools are, 35 don't, 36 don't, and 13 have a little idea of what they are. Okay, so thank you for that. You can stop now. We will be using Menti later on, so you may want to hold that application open for you. Okay, so basically, when we talk about Web 2.0 tools, we're talking about online software programs that allow us, sorry, okay, as we were. So basically, we're talking about online tools. What do we do with these online tools? Basically, what we try to do is to activate different types of activities. Okay, we can use them to teach curriculum content. We can use them to store data. We can use them to create or edit videos. We can use them to edit photos. We can collaborate, and many, many other things. Okay, basically, right now, the use of Web 2.0 tools has become a vital part of our teaching, because if we would talk about Web 2.0 tools probably, let's say, a year ago, and this is something that happened to me actually, they will say, well, yeah, we can use them, but it's not really, really important. Well, today, it's the only thing that we can do, right? With this pandemic, the first thing that we found out is, okay, we have to find new ways of teaching. We have to learn how to do different things and think different, right? So, okay. So, now I want you to go to menti.com again. And this time, I'll just close this one. And I will open another question. Just 1 second. Right now we have to be switching from one presentation to the other, and that's affecting a little bit the way that we usually proceed in this. And let's stop sharing for just 1 second. Thank you. The problem was exactly that. Okay. Now I'm going to share our new question, which is, what Web 2.0 tools do you know or use? The code is 309981, so please start writing the names of Web 2.0 tools that you know or use. Okay, so we're talking about Facebook, Kahoot, WhatsApp, YouTube, Moodle, Hadoop Play, Google Drive, Open Sanctuary, Powtoon, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, Padlet, Prezi, Classroom. Okay, so that means that you are already using a lot of this Web 2.0 tools, or at least you know them, which is really good, because basically that is what we have to do nowadays, right? Okay, let's stop there for a second, and then I'm going to share with you the other presentation. Give me a second. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so here I have also a couple of Web 2.0 tools. Some of them were already mentioned, some of them weren't. So I want to share them with you. Right now, something that is really, really hot in the market, let's say, is TikTok. Everyone wants to use it. We have Google Calendar. We have Picnic. We have Pandora. We have Facebook, Google Docs, Audacity, Edmodo, Amazon. We have Whirl, Doodle, Reddit, Dropbox. Basically, we have literally thousands of Web 2.0 tools that we can use. Okay. So the question is, if we have these tools, why are we not using all of them? Or basically, why do we actually have to use specifically one and not combine them with others? Well, that's actually a very good question, because we can share and we can combine more than one activity or more than one app at the same time. One more time, I want you to go to menti.com and you're going to answer now a new question. Okay. And now this question has to do with Mentimeter specifically. Okay. So I'm going to share it again. And the question is very simple. Have you used Mentimeter before? So who has used it? You will say yes. If you haven't, please say no. You can also say, I don't know, if you don't know if you have used it or not. And some of you may have been using it as an audience, which right now, pretty much everyone who's here is using Mentimeter as an audience, but I want to know your previous information, not about today, okay? Okay, great. So basically we see that 11 people have used Mentimeter before, 54 people haven't, 55 now, 2 don't know if they have or not, and 10 have used it only as audience. So basically what you're doing right now again, right? Okay. So let's go back to our presentation. Let me share it quickly. So basically, what is Mentimeter? Okay, Mentimeter is basically an interactive presentation tool. Okay, this will help teachers to attain learning engagement with the students, and it also helps in testing knowledge, share ideas and feedback, but mainly it is important for teachers because it gives everyone in the classroom a voice. Okay, now our students are not like students from, like, let's say 10 years ago, right? Today our students want to be challenged and participate in their learning process, but at the end of the day, what they want is to have fun and learn inside the class. Okay, how many times we have heard students saying, oh, but the class is boring. And you have been teaching everything that you could. All the material that you could, you have taught it. But oh surprise, they still don't feel it's fun. It's not engaging. So all of these things are going to help them to engage on the use of or basically on learning whatever you are trying to teach them. In this case, English. Okay. So, what is Mentimeter used for? First, you build beautiful interactive presentations in the presentation builder. You have different varieties, and we will see some of them, and I will show you how to use it. Okay. So you can collect polls, data, opinions from participants using smart devices. So it doesn't mean that you have to be only with a computer. You can also have a cell phone, for example. And you can still use the cell phone to connect. So any type of smart device will work. Okay. Now, you also get insights on participants with trends and data export. Okay. So let's try one more time Menti.com. Okay. And now the question that I have for you is, what is a word cloud? Again, in this case, the code is 182268. What is a word cloud? Okay, ideas from many people. I don't know. That's okay. That's why you're here today. What you had us to do before. Okay. Basically, and we're doing it again. So it's true. Keywords, a source, store, brainstorming, rain of ideas. Okay, brainstorming. Interaction, information. Wow, a lot of words. Different perceptions, topics, brainstorming, difficult ideas about the topic. Just for you to know, the people who are trying to do annotations, it's not exactly as you think it works. It's not that you're going to write things. It's just that you would be actually activating things on the monitor. So you don't really have to do that. You can take all the notes you want, either on paper, or don't worry, because you will still have the presentation at the end. If you go into the course that you opened, you will have the presentation there in PDF. And all of this is in PDF, so don't worry. Okay, many words about the topic, sharing ideas, word frequency usage, different perceptions, different ideas, many words, point of view, game. Yeah, pretty much all of the things that you're saying are true, and you can use a word cloud for pretty much everything that you want. Basically, what we have been doing, it is a word cloud. So having this nice graphic with a lot of colors and different sizes of words and words going all over the place, that is basically a word cloud. Okay. In general words, a word cloud is a popular way to show words or concepts associated with internet keywords. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to stop this one for a second. And we're going back to our presentation. So this is one of the descriptions that I found. This one is from peachclubconference.org. And it basically says that a word cloud is a popular visualization of words typically associated with internet keywords and text data. They are most commonly used to highlight popular or trending terms based on frequency of use and prominence. A word cloud is a beautiful, informative image that communicates much in a single glance. Okay? Now, something that is very interesting about word clouds is that you can use it for a variety of things. Of course, one of those things is, as we did right now, to ask questions. right? But you can also use it for many other things, as we will see in a couple of seconds. As we were mentioning, we're going to check on how to use Mentimeter in your class and how to set your Mentimeter accounts, okay? So let's start with how to use Mentimeter in the class. First, you can use it to practice vocabulary. So if we have new vocabulary, we can ask a question like, for example, tell me animals that live in the jungle. And they will start writing names of animals that live in the jungle. Okay? That is a good way to practice vocabulary. For reading engagement, this one is a little bit different, because the first thing that you will do is have the student read something, and then at the end of the reading, you will probably ask a question about, for example, a character. So describe, let's say, Romeo, and they will have to describe Romeo from Romeo and Juliet, right? And they will tell us, well, this guy is young, he's old, he's thin, he's I don't know, black, white, whatever they want to say. It doesn't make any difference, right? They will be talking about the particular character and describing the particular character, or the scene, or anything that we think is important from that reading that they did, okay? Also, finding familiar or unfamiliar language. This one is a very interesting way of practicing with students, because many times we think, or we tend to think, that from a reading they may know every single word. But all of a sudden we realize that not all of them know every single word. So we can tell them to write, for example, in a word cloud, unfamiliar language, the words that they don't know. The great thing of using this type of tool for this activity is that basically students are not frightened to ask. Why? Because don't forget, as basically you saw, I have no idea who is saying what or who is asking what. So there is no way that anyone can actually bother someone for asking, let's say, in a certain way, a dumb question. But as I say, there are no dumb questions. There are dumb who don't ask questions. Anyway, basically the thing is that teachers can use this technique to get to know which words are being difficult for your students, and then focus on those particular words, instead of trying to give definitions for 1,000 words that they already know. Okay. Also, it is a powerful formative assessment tool. You can ask questions, more than one actually, at the same time, and you can actually see what their response is. Okay, so you can see an overall how your students are doing on a certain topic. Okay. We also have a teaching strategy for different learning styles. As you know, many students learn in different ways. Okay, ones are very kinesthetic, so they need to touch things. So we can probably use, if they have a touch screen, we can actually do something with it, that they will have to touch, that they will have to activate something, that they have to do something. Okay, some type of activity. Some others are visual, so having a lot of colors and images will probably help them remember words or concepts, right? Another way of learning, for example, if you need to read something in order to learn it, then you will have also something like a word cloud where you can see the words, so you can read the concepts, you can read the things. And the most important thing, you will keep your students engaged, because your students are not going to feel like if they have, or if they're not doing anything in the class. They're actually participating all the time. Okay? So, let's see how we can set our Mentimeter account. Okay? As you notice, the first thing that I told you is to go to www.menti.com. Okay? That particular web page is only to check on the results. So our students will go to menti.com. But if we are going to set our account, then we have to go to a different page, which in this case is mentimeter.com. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is go to www.mentimeter.com. Okay, then we will go to the button that says sign up. Usually it's in the right corner. Okay. You will have all these instructions with you, so you don't really have to write anything. But if you're doing it right now, that's also fine. Okay. Then this screen will come up. Oops, sorry. And here, what you have to do is enter your email address, choose a password, and write your first and last names. And then you sign up. Okay. The fourth step that you will have to do is choose your field and then click on Get Started. Basically, the field means, for example, if you're using it for workshops, if you're using it for events from 10 to 50 people, if you're using it for training sessions, if you're using it for education, if you're using it for meetings or team management, conferences or large events, or other things. Okay. In my case, of course, when I did I created my account, I activated it on education, will also mean probably workshops, training sessions, and even events like this one. Okay. Now, you have a fifth option, which is to either buy the program or use it for free. Although the Basic Pro and Enterprise versions have more features, everything that we saw in this particular webinar was based on the free version. Okay, so nothing that I did is from any other than the free version. Okay, so I'm going to share my account so you can see all the things that we can do. Okay, so right now we're going to go to this account. Okay, so basically when I enter my account with my name, I will have this screen. Okay, in my case, I already created a couple of folders with information or with presentations. But how do you create your own presentation? Very, very simple. Once you have your account, as you can see, this one is mine, you go to new presentation. And you create your presentation. So for example, I'm going to write jungle animals. Okay? And then you go to create presentation. I already created the name of my presentation. Now it's time to choose what type of presentation. The ones that we were focusing mainly today are word clouds. Okay, the first one that I did, the one that had the yes, no, and maybe, were created with multiple choice. Okay, but the ones that we're going to check right now are word clouds. So you click on word cloud, and here you have a section that says your question. Where it says your question, you're actually going to write whatever you want to ask. For example, in this case, we were talking about, for example, one is jungle animal. Okay, so which one is a jungle animal? I could give them other type of materials before and they can just answer, or they could just start writing their names. Now, here in this part, it says entries per participant. I can set it for participants to have a minimum participation. So let's say people have to write at least 3 animals. Or I could just set this for 1 and then write extras. Let participants submit multiple times. So that means that the same participant will be able, which is, by the way, what I did with you, they can set or send as many messages as they want. Okay? With the first option, entries per participant, actually when they write the code for the question, what they will have are the number of spaces to write or slots to write. So it will be slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. Or in this case, it's only one, so they will only have one chance to write something. Okay? And then, when you are ready with your question and you want to play it so students can see it, then you just go here to this button that says present. Okay? So I click here, and actually if you go right now to menti.com, you enter that code 64441, and you can start writing jungle animals. Okay? I will just, of course, I'm not expecting you to do this right now, but I want to show you something else with this. Thank you, somebody already started writing. You see, that is how interactive this thing is. Okay? And I can keep looking at the answers from people as I change things. For example, one of the things that I can do is I can have a profanity filter. Okay? So I can choose a language. For example, in this case, we're talking about English. Okay? And we will have only words that are acceptable. Okay? Now, the other thing that I can also do, okay, is here I can download the results. So after we finish with our presentation, I can just download the information and I can check it and plan my next class according to the information that I got. Or if I'm going to use this, for example, for another class, I can just reset the results. So the other people will not be able to see what the first group answered. Okay? What else can I do here? Of course, I can also check for examples. This will give me actually models that I can follow. I can use certain themes. Okay. The only problem is that when I use themes, some of them, like you can see, they have a little star here. Those ones are the ones that are included on the paid version. Okay. And then I can configure the presentation to go either at my page or the audience's page. Okay? The other thing that we can also set are comments from the audience in certain topics. Of course, the topics that we have been using right now do not actually need comments from the audience. Okay? Now, let's go back a little bit. And I know that I'm running out of time, so basically, the other thing that you can create here when you go to your home page is create folders. So you can organize different folders according to what you're going to be using. For example, if you are teaching, let's say, an advanced class, or if you're working in schools, you teach first graders and you teach sixth graders. So you can create a folder for first grade, another one for sixth grade. Or you can create one for an intermediate level, another one for an advanced level. Okay? You can create different folders and have all your presentations organized inside of those folders. Like in my case, these are the presentations that we were using for this presentation. One thing that you have to be careful about is that every time you use one of these presentations again, it will probably reset your code. The codes that you just saw are valid for basically 2 days. After that, it will reset it. But that's okay, because it will do it automatically. You don't have to do anything on your own. Okay? Now, I would actually right now I would like to go a little bit into Q&A session with you, so I can probably answer some of the questions that you have. And the only thing that I wanted to share before going into that is one little thing again. These are other web pages that I can also use to create word clouds. Now, one of the differences between Mentimeter and some of these ones that you will see there are that Mentimeter is totally interactive, so you can make your students work with it. In some of the others, you will have to write the words, and then the word cloud will come up. Okay, so that's basically the difference between Mentimeter and the others. But as you saw, Mentimeter is a very, very useful way to create or to use word clouds and many other type of polls, by the way, not only word clouds. And it is a very interactive way to engage your students into working with you as you are teaching the class. Okay? So thank you very much for that. And basically, I would like to start going into a question and answer session, maybe. Let me stop this. Maybe we can just, let's see. I think I had a couple of people that raised their hands before, so I just want to check on that.
Okay, thank you, Bernard. Now we are going to start with the round of questions and answers. So the first question that we have is if we can show in Menti the students who participated in the activity, not only download, but show in live. I don't know.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you well.
Oh, sorry. The question is, how can I show in Menti the students who participated in the activity?
Okay. At least in the free version, you wouldn't be able to. But basically, part of the idea is exactly that because it is not necessarily mandatory for the students to participate, or there will be no way to actually know if they did it or not. Most people will do it. Why? Because it basically gives them the voice when they are afraid or scared of talking. Why? Because if I say something that is wrong, nobody knows it's me. Okay, so that's part of the idea. Nevertheless, when you get the results, you will have, of course, the number of students that participated, and you can probably use that as your way of measuring your participation. Many times when we have this type of activities, we don't necessarily need to know who is participating. It is important to know, actually, from those who are participating, what the problems or issues are, because that way we can focus on that information.
Okay. Remember that if you have any questions, can make it on the chat window. Okay. Here we have. Next question. Can students use Mentimeter with any kind of telephone or tablet?
Yes. Basically, Mentimeter is an app that can be used with any type of browser in any type of smart device. As you saw, it's actually very, very simple to use, so it's not a big deal to actually use it either from your phone or a tablet or your computer.
Okay, perfect. Another question. Can we erase one of the answers of the word cloud in case the word has nothing to do with the topic?
Yeah, actually we can. probably that's something that I should have done when people were writing things like no idea or something like that. But actually, I didn't because my objective was to actually see how people responded to different questions. Okay, so let's say that my investigation was a little bit farther down the road. But yeah, you can definitely erase words as you are. Let me see if I can actually reconnect to my Mentimeter account just for a second, and I'll tell you exactly where you can do that.
Okay.
Oh, give me a second. Mm-hmm. Give me just 1 second to open this and show you. Sorry, it's taking some time. Okay. Let me share it with you. Okay. So when we have our presentation here, what we can do is we can click here where it says Menti Mode, and this will take us to another page where we can actually handle responses. Okay, so these are the answers that you have. Okay, and you can say, for example, okay, no idea. Actually, 4 people wrote it, but I don't want to show that answer, so I can just click here and say remove that answer. Okay, and that answer will be automatically removed. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Now, yours again.
Thank you. Another question. Do you need internet for this application?
Yes. These are interactive activities and they are synchronous activities. So they have to be done. I mean, even though we can just give them the code for a poll, the idea is to make it more interactive. And for interactivity to happen, it will be better if we have an internet connection. Now, can we send it as homework? Probably we can. We can send the activity, give them the code, and they will have to answer the questions, for example. If we are trying to do like a questionnaire or something like that, then we will be able to do it asynchronous. But my recommendation would be to actually do it synchronous. So online. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Please tell again how long a Menti can last.
Okay. Menti will be actually open for pretty much all the time that you want, but the code will only last for 2 days. So after those 2 days, you will have to reopen it, and then a new code will come up, and they can use the new code.
Okay. Can we have a register of students' participation?
Okay. I don't think you can. I will actually have to check because it's probably one of the activity of the possibilities that you have on the pro versions. Okay. But you will probably be able to at least check how many people answered your questions.
Okay. Another question from Jose Antonio Vite. Why is it important to introduce a word cloud in my online class with the students?
Okay, basically we're talking about interactivity. I don't know if it happens to you, but it does to me. If I am sitting for 2 hours just listening to a person on the other side, it is really boring. And we're talking about students that are very used to have technology around them. So if you use this type of activities that will engage them, even if it's like for 1 minute, 2 minutes, it will at least get them engaged for 20 or 30 more minutes. So if you have different activities like the ones we just did, that will help you to have your students engaged into the class.
Okay. Another question, where do I see the results in real time while participants are typing?
Okay, you just click on the button that says present, and that's it. It will show you automatically. And actually, if you're sharing your screen, as I were, you will actually get the live version of the information that is getting to your account.
Okay. Another question from Ipatia. May I use to share information in Mentimeter through WhatsApp?
You can download it to your computer, and then you basically clicking on the button that said download results. And once you got it in your computer, you can share it by email, by WhatsApp, by any means that you think necessary.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Werner, for your intervention, and thank each of you for your participation. We remind you. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much to all of you who were here. Thank you for your very important questions. I hope that everything worked well as planned for you, and that you have now one more tool that you can use for your online classes.
Thank you, Werner. We remind you that to obtain your digital webinar certificate, you must complete the following requirements. Attendance at the webinar of at least 45 minutes, take the assessment test, carry out the leisure activity, and pass with a minimum of 70 points. Your certificate will be ready from Monday, July 28th. Attendance will be reflected in grades on July 21st, and the link can be found in the webinar's classroom. To finish, we extend the invitation to participate in our virtual and live courses. For more information, visit our website. Good afternoon, and see you in the next webinar. Thank you.
Goodbye.